Hello, everybody. This is more Antinatalist Ministries from your Antinatalist Pastoris, Die Antinatalist. And, just running around today, just doing like a million things and errands and doctor's appointments and mail and, shopping like for groceries and then whatnot. And, one of my songs came on Bluetooth, and so I was in the car, and Eddie Money's song came on, Tickets to Paradise. Yeah, that song. That wasn't my favorite song of his, but I love Eddie Money, and I was so very, very lucky to see him, within the year that he died. And it was phenomenal. And I got selfies with him. He was very gracious. He met everybody in the foyer at the Palace in Greensburg. And I had no idea he was sick or faltering. And he really, defined a lot of fun in the mid-'80s. His songs were always on the radio. And, they were happy songs, fun songs, and uplifting songs. And, I just can't even remember a time in the 80s in North Carolina without hearing his songs play. So, his song was playing in my car just a few minutes ago. And, I was just thinking of something that must be terribly, afflictive to, any man, any head of a household, who is about to die. And most people, they know when they are going to die, or, they've found out some bad news. They have a cancer diagnosis, or, they're on medication that is just barely keeping them alive. Like maybe, somebody who's had so many heart operations and maybe a heart transplant, and maybe on insulin, maybe on kidney failure, and using oxygen. But this video primarily speaks to the male audience, and particularly the heads of households. And somebody like Eddie Money, he had multiple children, maybe 3 if I remember correctly. And his daughter was actually there at the concert with him, and she partied next door with all of us in the restaurant who were just there dining. It was great. It was really a phenomenal event and show, and I looked forward to seeing him again. But the tragedy must befall any man who is a head of a household, even with or without kids, but a man whose dependents rely on him. And, for him to realize the detriment of, his impending demise. And some of us don't know our demise. It will happen very quickly and suddenly. But in a case of cancer, I think he had some kind of esophageal cancer. You're given months, if not a year or so, to get your affairs in order. But it must be gut-wrenching to, feel your decline, and, to feel like, a dichotomy between wanting to help your family and keeping your family alive, no matter what wealth level. I'm not going to assume anybody has a certain amount of wealth, because wealth is not going to alleviate pain and suffering. But, Eddie Money, he would have been a support system for his family, and he may have had grandkids. He would have been, loved by them, and of course his children, and then his wife, she's now a widow, so that kind of changes the dynamics for a spouse. I turned some light on here. But the fallout or the aftermath of losing somebody who took care of a family, who lended a support system or a shoulder to cry on, a father or a grandfather, or, most likely a patriarch of a family. For them to be, gone, or to expect their demise, it's unthinkable. I mean, a lot of people think that, granddad or dad, are gonna live to 85, and, just read the papers, look at the obituaries. A lot of fathers die when their children are infants. It happens all the time. It's not uncommon. Sudden deaths, car wrecks, drugs, alcohol, murders, mass shootings, diseases. There's just so many ways to, for someone to lose their life. But I think in particular, it's very, very difficult for a man who is a head of a household. Now, I am not a man, nor I'm a head of a household, and I'm going to do a video, which should be really good, on the gender differences and the contributions made by each gender, and the damage done by each gender. But men overall throughout the years have been the backbone of many families. Not to discredit you, single moms or anybody who takes care of a family, a single person, a child-free person. But when you have a lot of dependents, such as the case with, Eddie Money, when you have a lot of people depending on you and who you are going to leave behind, it must be just horrifically saddening and, crushing to think that you are going to leave a family without your support. Whether or not they have finances to take care of them, the patriarch, adds a certain strength. I mean, typically they add a certain strength, to a household. And a lot of dads are looked up to. I know, as a child, I think losing my dad would have been pretty, damaging. And, but, to lose the strength of the family, or the breadwinner of a family, or your favorite relative, which could be your dad over your mom, it would just be heartbreaking. But I think even more so, I think the pain of a man knowingly, who has a terminal illness, and he's going to perish soon and leave his family to take care of him, or perhaps him becoming disabled or dependent on others. It just goes against what the patriarch is raised to become in life, which that is a caretaker and a provider. So that was just a video that, you know, crossed my mind when Eddie Money's song came on. And, you know, it's heartbreaking enough losing, you know, all of my, you know, my childhood and my youth favorite artists. And I mean, I'm just so thankful that I got to see Eddie Money. It was a blast. Total blast. I mean, so memorable. So, you know, Eddie Money, I know you can't hear this, but thank you very much for your contribution to this world and to music, the music industry, and to my generation. From the bottom of my heart. You were well loved and appreciated, and you know, you fought a nasty illness, as most of us will. And anyway, as an end to all of my videos, the only prevention to all harm, is not to reproduce. So please do not reproduce.